Dartey and Africanus Aveh and their presentations From Stage to Screen to the Classroom, an adaptation of Asare's Ananse in the Land of Idiots as an educational material.
So, as an educator, one of the things that I've realized teaching drama and theater is how to fill in the gap when students are unable to watch a live production. In doing this, I ask some critical questions. If they watch the video, what are the messages or the things that they carry along? So this is one of the questions that brought to our attention to the film version of Ananse Idiots that was directed by Africanus Aveh, be used as an educational material for preparing Ghanaian students and or West African students for the West African Examination Council exams in English. Next slide, please. So looking at that, I realized that adaptation was one of the key forms that was engaged. In adaptation, there are so many approaches. I'm one of those who believe that adaptation is with us. And most of the ways we do things, we adapt. And in the literary world, a lot of adaptation has happened in such a way that the stories of old that we know, the performances that we are familiar with, were born out of myth. So most African stories that were created, especially the ones by the likes of Efwa Sutherland, the late Mohammed Ben Abdallah, and the rest were all myths that they built on to create their story. So adaptation, which is normally the documentation form they take and all comes to the fore. Next slide, please. There are several types of adaptation. You can adapt from screen to the stage, you can adapt from screen to book, you can have either a novel turned into a screen, a novel onto stage, where these are very common when we come to our Cinderellas, we come to Beauty and the Beast and all. But what I want to focus on has to do with the stage to screen, where there's a form of adaptation which a stage play is transformed into a screenplay and normally shot on location. Next slide, please.
People are saying that it's sometimes hard to hear, so please stay close to your microphone. Thank you.
Okay, please. Yeah. So the adaptation, there are several modes of doing it. We have the loose adaptation, where normally it might just be around the theme or pick an inspiration from the work. Literal adaptation also has to do with sometimes taking up the ideas and all. And stage to screen works normally engages this. But this type of adaptation that we are talking about is faithful adaptation because of the purpose and the mission that this work is going to be used for as an educational tool and as a transformative. Yeah, we can move to the next slide. And as a transformative work, the faithful adaptation mode is supposed to be used for this. Please move to the next slide. So faithful adaptation is one of the common forms of film adaptation. It is a type of adaptation which the adapter works is very loyal to the original work. So we normally will say, oh, it takes an inspiration from the original work, so it's very faithful to it. And you see a lot of similarities, sometimes if not the medium change and all. Bucknell and Brad in an interview with the Hedgel states that faithfulness assumes a singular origin. It enables us from it, anything that follows it must flow. So when you look at the plays that are normally transformed into a film for educational purposes, they normally have to use that faithful trend so that the learning or the objectives for which the transformation is taking place becomes beneficial to us. Next, please. We go to the next I just don't want to take my time because of that. So let's move to the Ananse in the land of idiots.
Sorry, Solomon, I didn't hear you. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that so for the Ananse in the land of idiots, the director says that due to the exam requirements, they chose to use the faithful, they chose to be faithful to the original work. This is because he wanted students to grasp the plot, identify characters and situation, memorize significant quotes, of needing to identify the context in which quotes were made. Therefore, he didn't want to create any confusion for the student if the student have to engage that. So he was very, very accurate with the work. He tried his best not to substitute text, no room for ad-libbing and all. He made sure that the cast were text and all. Please next. So the land of Announcing the Land of Idiots is a play written by the late Asare. But this play has been the first print out was in 2006. Then the stage production was made. Then the screen, which was done in 2016, of which is the focus. But the screen, this Kojuan publication and Obugasi come together to produce the screen version because Kojuan had to reproduce the script and for students to use as a literary work for to prepare for exam. And this play takes the form, the theatrical form called Ananse. Ananse is a coinage by the late where the total African story approach is used a lot of African symbolism, storytelling, attributes that are very linked to African storytelling. So these measure use of music, dance, dramatic action, and spectacle. Next, please. So the story takes the form of a theatrical and comic, where say as a character uses a switch for survival in a town called Demira. He goes so where he is caught defiling a ritual feast by the god Akbala. Although the priestess condemns him to death, the king spares him after Ananse promises to use spectacular clothes for the princess and her brother, the prince Kotaji. So the synopsis and all, but I want us to focus on watch the performance, and then we'll come to some of the elements that were used and which I feel that makes the debating stand out. Please can we move to the next one, please? Can we show the video, please?
Sorry, Solomon, we cannot hear you now, so please.
Sorry, let's show the video.
Sorry?
Let's show the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah. So
yeah, just ignore the silly brute feeling, please. You don't have time, you know. And you, must you continue showing so much disrespect to such an exalted prince? In my tribe, repentant subjects hide themselves the moment they behold the presence of a superior they have offended. Get yourself behind that bush! At once! Vanish! Yeah. Face front and stretch out your arms. Is that the sort of special cloth you are spinning for us? The designs and the hues are on the other side. You can see those. Well, I don't have the time. Just make sure they're absolutely artistic. I have a very high sense for artistic judgment. I'll remember that valiant phrase. Please stretch out your arms this way. This way. Like a dressed antelope, eh? Right. Now hurry. Just hold on a minute. I'll fetch some charcoal to mark out the vital point. No need, friend. Spare your arrow. Let's go there. The fool! The bragging! Oh, not the time to stand here. So the dead we must hurry. Yeah. Put this smoke on him while I remove the cloth. Then after I've gone, call Odudu and tell him about my death. And then you must let him help you put the corpse away. Remember all you have to tell the king and don't make it slip, right? Here. Take the princess's dress. I must hurry off to finish the princess smoke. Soon after I've gone, scream your head, call Odudu, and then of course you must clear this mess. Eh? So long. Hey, meet me at the hut near the large silk cotton tree and don't make it slip.
What? Suppose you just run off and leave me to bear this burden alone?
What little sense you have? You think I will run off and leave all these good things behind? Why do you think that I strain my brains hatching and nursing this plan to fruition? Meet me at the hut at midnight and don't blunder.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ananse.
So there is a section that Africanus in adapting the work engaged. He realized that in this work he used his use of animation. He engaged the use of animation to achieve the effect of the drawing of the. This is because he wanted to use the cinematic means to work it out. So my question has always been, how do we make these works? Because some of the playwrights, when they write, because the stage is their focus, they create these effects and other things that are achievable on stage. But in transforming them onto cinematic themes, what are some of the ways that are engaged with that with Ananse in the land of idiots? There was great use of animations. There were a lot of cultural transposition. When I talk about cultural transposition, I said we make sure that you transpose the Krobo ethnic area famous for the book, which did not deviate from the interpretation for the students. Then with the theatrical convention, a specific dramatic concept that was difficult to reproduce on screen was the breaking of the fourth wall. You realize that he, in his work, he character work and moved us into the stage. So these transformations, listening to student reviews and other things, I realized that did not have much impact on the work, but rather it helps students to appreciate the story the more. South Africanus, please, would you say something? I want to take all the time.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay. So some of the findings I got from the research was that students have found the film a welcoming teaching aid because it helps students visualize situations that are unfamiliar to them. The director noted that adaptation would have been executed differently to circumvent these difficulties. The primary goal had not been to produce teaching material. The film adaptation serves as a case study exploring the pedagogical prospect of theatrical film adaptation, and it contributes to broader discussion of decolonizing educational content and preserving theatrical heritage media. Thank you very much.
Using the faithful adaptation, as I've already explained, was to get the students to be able to handle the questions that the examination council was going to set on the core English. And the exam structure requires students to identify characters, identify scenes, memorize and some lines, and try to remember and explain some lines in the context in which they were, stated and all that. So we have to be faithful to the text. Otherwise, we'll be confusing the students, as they prepare for their exams. If it was just a film adaptation of the text that we just wanted to do, and not necessarily for the students' educational purposes, we would probably not have done the faithful adaptation. We would just have tried very much to do a film, adaptation of the text to the best of our abilities, and not necessarily being very faithful to the text, because some parts of the dramatic text were challenging for the film, especially breaking the fourth wall, which you can't do, successfully on screen, and then also some of the acts, and then also because it is a stage play, it was full of dialogue. We could have, turned some of the dialogues into visuals, and all, if we were doing a film adaptation of the text. But here is the case that we were doing a film for educational, purposes. Thank you.